Alright, so got this Mazda here, and it's got a parking brake warning lamp on, and the tire light. So this is not the warning lamp for when the parking brakes are in service mode, like if you're going to do a brake job. This one is on because there's a code stored in the electronic parking brake module, and in fact the e-brake actually works just fine. So I'll show you guys how that's going. So you can hear the e-brake actuating and disengaging, and the e-brake comes on when it's engaged. You can hear it back here. And the light goes off. So the e-brake's working just fine, yet we have this warning lamp on, and we're going to scan it right now and figure out what's going on. Alright, so the first thing I like to do is do a complete scan of the vehicle. It can be called, like it is over here, a health report. It can be a quick test. It can be a complete vehicle scan, but we're trying to see if all the modules on the vehicle have any codes and what they may have in common. Sometimes there will be codes in every module stating that a specific module is faulty or there's a DTC in it. So that's what we do. I like to do that with every vehicle if it's available. It can take a little bit. On this car it's going kind of quick, but in any case you do want to start there. So alright, so now that is scanned, we've got the instrument cluster has a UDTC, the PCM has a UDTC saying that the compatibility with the instrument cluster. The ABS has a UDTC 0423, invalid data received from the instrument cluster. The parking brake says U0423, invalid data received from the instrument panel cluster. And then we got a BDTC, and that's in the start-stop unit, saying that the PAT's anti-theft. That may or may not be related to any of this, or may not even be a problem. The rest of the modules seem to be okay. So we're going to try to clear them. That's the first thing you want to do. As part of your diagnostics, you want to record it, and then you want to clear it. So I'm going to save this report, and it basically comes out in a neat format telling you what all the codes are. So I'm going to save that, and then we're going to clear them, and whatever DTCs return are going to be considered a hard fault, and that's how we determine how we're going to go about diagnosing. So we'll go ahead and clear it, and you know, if we get nothing back, then and the lights go off, then it's going to be, you know, a soft fault or intermittent fault, and then we're going to try to reduplicate it to see when it reappears. Now we see some of the warning lights coming on while you're erasing or scanning, because when the modules are activated by the scan tool, then the warning lights can come on. Alright, so we're all done, and it looks like we still have most of the DTCs stating that there's a problem in the instrument cluster. Alright, so the first thing we're going to try here is that there's actually a bulletin. It's SI 1032, and it's got a procedure on some of the vehicles setting one of the codes, which has to be the UO 423, and it states to follow some certain steps, which I'm going to post up here while we're doing it. But here we go. We're going to try it, and then it states that the DTC should clear and the warning lamp should go off. So the first thing it states to do is turn the ignition on. Okay, and then on the center display here, it wants you to go to the settings, start from the beginning here. Settings. And then it wants you to go to where you can change the temperature right here. And they want you to switch it from Fahrenheit to Celsius, and then go down to the distance and set it to so if it's on miles, they want you to set to kilometers. So basically at this point right here, I've never done this, but it's trying to state that whatever the temperature and the distance is, you want to change it to the opposing one. And so we've done that. And now it wants us to turn off the ignition and find the room fuse. And we're going to pull that fuse. So we're going to turn the ignition back off. We're going to head out to the fuse box. Alright, so the room fuse is the first 15 amp right here. Alright, so we pulled the fuse out. Now we got to go back in. Okay, now it states to hold the trip and reset button for more than 5 seconds. Okay, and now we got to go back and install the room fuse. Okay, so we have installed the room fuse. Now it's just to turn the ignition on. And to delete the DTCs again. So we're going to try that. Okay, so now I'm running a health report again, and we're going to try to clear them. So you know what's odd is already I don't see the warning lamp on. The TPMS and the parking brake warning, the amber one, are both off. And before, with the ignition on, they were both coming on and staying on. Alright, so we're done scanning. I'm going to try a full clear. And guess what? That's crazy. It worked. This problem followed the bulletin identically. So now it wants you to go back to the settings and reset your temperature and your distance back to where it was. And that's obviously just because the customer had it on those, and so you just want it to read the same. I'm sure if you didn't complete this part, then it's not going to affect the actual repair. Actually, it was already back on Fahrenheit and miles. How interesting. Alright guys, so I'm going to fire this up and drive it around for a little bit and make sure that that warning doesn't come back on. So let's see what happens. I thought I'd quickly try the parking brake. Make sure it doesn't make the warning lamp come back on. And it's working properly. So I think we'll go for our little drive here and see if it makes any difference. Alright, so I've been driving for a little bit, and seems like it's okay. I think I'm going to return it back to the customer and figure out if it reoccurs at any time. I don't completely quite understand the bulletin, but it specifically is stating that this happens on vehicles with the Mazda Connect. And that in some of these vehicles the battery will go so low that after you press ignition on and then back off, it sets these permanent codes. But the interesting thing is this customer has never complained of a jump start battery issue, low battery. So whatever happened caused the instrument cluster to get confused, set these DTCs, and they cannot be cleared until this procedure was done. So I think there might be other cars out there like that with the same problem, and you know, if the mechanics out there are not looking up bulletins, then they may advise on replacing like the instrument cluster or something like that. So it's very important to always be checking out service bulletins from the manufacturer. Alright guys, I hope this video can help somebody. Thank you.